Hello. Today we're going to take a look at Fiddlesticks Star Guardian voice processing. Here's what he sounds like.
Open the door! Let me in!
Cool. So let's go ahead and dive on in. The first track we're going to look at is this little track right here. Let's see what's going on. Sweet. So with no processing, he sounds like this.
Open the door!
First off, I'm adding this weird automatic filtering stuff.
The door! In!
So there is some modulation that's just randomly moving these filters around, but it also reacts to the voice and when he starts speaking. So on some of those shorter lines like that, probably not going to hear it so well.
You were afraid!
And on the longer lines, you will hear it much better. The next step after that was running it through a super weird IR, which makes it sound like this. If you're unfamiliar with IRs, that just stands for impulse response. Traditionally, they are used to recreate a reverb from a real space. But if you put the sound from a synthesizer or other weird sound effect, then it tries to guess what that would sound like as a physical space and put the voice through it. So without the original weird filter movement, it sounds like this. And then with. So whatever I can do to give an IR extra movement is pretty important, because otherwise it will start to sound exactly the same and very static on every single line, which is not what we typically want. So let's hear where we're at right now. Then through some extra reverb. Just a little softer, and then compression and some EQ cleanup. Basically making it sound a consistent volume and removing some of the muddiness. So the next layer we're going to look at, so what we just listened to, this right here, sorry, that sound is also about to run through the next chain that we're looking at. So all these plugins here are also affecting the signal we just heard. However, it is also going to be affecting the dry voice individually.
Open the door!
Pitching it down just a tiny bit.
Open the door!
Adding a bunch of weird echoes.
Open the door!
Adding even more weird echoes and filters.
Open the door! Let me in!
And then adding some weird wabba wabbas.
Open the door!
And more.
Open the door! Let me in!
So all of those plugins are affecting that dry voice like we just heard, and then it will also be affecting the previous IR that we heard. So all of that together sounds like this.
Open the door! Let me in!
Cool. So the next layer we're going to look at is a lower pitched layer. So dry.
Open the door!
Get some wobbles in here.
Open the door!
Get some, I believe, pitch shifting and wave shaping, which is just like making it a little crunchier, a little clearer.
Open the door! Let me in!
And then just some cleanup.
Let me in!
We don't really need all those high frequencies and this low pitched, because that is being more than occupied by the other layers we've already heard.
Open the door!
Let's hear what it sounds like together so far.
Open the door!
So that is pretty cool. One thing
Let me in!
is it's getting slightly hard to understand, a little masky feeling. The voice is already pretty hard to understand in the context of the game and the sound effects and the music and everything. So I want to make sure that it's very easy to understand. Especially once we turn on the reverb and such, which we'll get to in a moment, it's going to get even more muddy. So I've made a layer that is specifically just designed to cut through all of the mud and give you some intelligibility back. Dry.
Open the door!
Pitched up.
Open the door!
Filtered and compressed.
Open the door!
So the entire purpose of this layer is just so you can understand the words. I'm going to play all of the layers so far without that intelligibility layer, and then I will play it with.
Open the door! Open the door!
Without.
Let me in!
With.
Let me in!
So all of the cool swirly wubby layers can still do their stuff, and I don't have to worry about that being super understandable, but we've got a little layer that pulls its weight in that regard. So all of those crash down into this track that has a little compression that just glues all the volume levels nicely together, and then is going to send to this reverb. So the first, let's hear our signal.
Open the door!
So that's what's coming through here, adding some verb.
Open the door! Let me in!
ROM has some pretty sick delays and stuff built into the verb, so it can sound like it does. Next, adding in another instance of timeless to get this.
Let me in!
So ironically enough, I'm using ROM, which is a reverb, to get more of a delay sound, and timeless, which is a delay, to get more of a reverb sound. It can be fun to try and blur those lines and push plugins into their secondary use, so like what they're not initially intended for, and it can give some more cool results. If someone's expecting to hear a reverb, see if you can achieve it without a traditional reverb. If someone's expecting to hear a delay, see what you can do with something that's not a traditional delay, and that's where you'll find a lot of your cool stuff. Another instance of timeless. Well, before I do that, let's hear what we've got again.
Open the door!
And then the next delay.
Open the door!
It's kind of hard to hear, but it's doing it like a little wow, 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 wow sort of sound.
Let me
Cool. So that's all the reverb. As per usual, my reverb is getting quieter because it is sidechained. So it gets quieter whenever the main voice is talking, and whenever the main voice is done talking, the reverb is allowed to rise up and be all that it was meant to be and be loud. So here's everything together.
Open the door! Let me in!
And originally we were at...
Open the door!
Cool. Thank you very much for watching.